Honestly, I don't really know if it's clickbait or not. This specific song and its lyrics are quite unique. Fiat Scriptum, your favorite scribe is back again. And today, after analyzing them thoroughly, I'll try to answer the question set in the thumbnail. Does the cycle of songs by Sabaton have the best lyrics on the whole album? Keep in mind that this is more of a technical analysis of lyrics specifically. We will go for rhymes, imagery, and storytelling to discover if those lyrics are truly the best on the entire album. Oh, and don't mind this one. Let's start with rhymes. Sun, might, offerings. Gods, prince, thou. Okay, so technically we cannot distinguish any end rhyme here. Not even assonances, since they are not placed the way a regular song would place them. I'll talk about how and why later in the video. But just at the first glance you can tell, that's not an ordinary Sabaton song, nor an ordinary song in general. We have the following vowel sounds in the first stanza. Maybe we have some inner rhyme. The first line is a pretty solid example of one. We have thy might in the second, assonance in the third, and a lot of tone painting with the constant b, s, t, and th in this stanza. But the thing I want to point out immediately, the constant repetition of certain words and phrases. They are written in a way to imitate the poetry and, songs of ancient Egypt. Specifically ones from the Middle Kingdom, if that gives you any information at all. The whole song is stylized this way, and I adore the stylization as a writing technique. I use it in my own songs really often, so in my book it gives like extra 5 points immediately. Twice joyful is the lyricist. Then we have order, flourish, young, man, land. Looks like the same thing as in the first stanza. They keep the rhyming pattern, but in this specific stanza there is a smaller amount of alliteration and inner rhyme. But in the pre-chorus we see a certain pattern break. They add an assonance rhyme between the first and the second lines. Sky, widening. The rhyming sound is I. And between the third and the fourth lines, renew, rule, with the sound oo. Another cool thing is the inner rhyme here. I, sky, thy. How I will sound I. Boundaries, thou, now. How I will sound ow. After that follows the chorus, and from the perspective of vocalist and a non-native speaker, with the help of some phonetic twisting, we can get assonance rhyme almost after every other vowel. Listen for yourself. Thy power is rising, enticing the son of Ra, divine of birth. Huh? That sounds like a logical sentence built on a, that ends with a sound. Strictly speaking, this might be considered a walk rhyme in Orthodox poetry. But even if we throw away my amateur attempts to combine the uncombinable, there are still plenty of inner rhyming with the I sound. Almost the same thing with the following two lines, except for the I sound changes to e in the third and o in the sixth. In the final lines of the chorus we see the repetition of the third and fourth. Then in the second verse we also see a lot of inner rhyming with I without the ending rhyme. Maybe just unite and nine. I slightly changed pre-chorus to develop the story and the same chorus. The only new part that follows is the bridge, but it doesn't have much rhyme-wise. Imagery. As I said before, the whole song is stylized as ancient Egyptian poetry. All those hast, thou, thy sound like a nightmare for non-native speakers. Can you imagine if the language also had declension of nouns? Changing the ending of every word depending on context, number, and gender? And you need to remember like half of it because of exceptions. We don't actually have it that bad now that I think about it. Still hate it though. And the fact that the band can pull this off shows their songwriting skill. Maneuvering between the grammatical nuances and general perception of music is quite a challenge. Now, add extra stylization and you receive a difficult task even for a native speaker. Yet, they execute it flawlessly. And after that follows the references. So, since I can do it now, I also want to say a huge thank you to Dominic Perry, who has a wonderful breakdown and explanation of the song from the perspective of an Egyptologist. Personally, I don't know that much of ancient Egyptian history, so I had to do some research on this topic to give you a clearer image. I don't want to just repeat what he said word by word. If you want to know more details, go visit his video. But strictly speaking, regarding the other imagery, we have mostly refrains and metaphors with, you guessed it, historical references. And most important of all, the theme of duality that shines through the entire song. We'll talk about it a little bit later. Son of God of the Sun. Egyptians believe that pharaohs are living deities that descended from gods. Another thing is a paraphrase which is typical of ancient poetry. It's not just Ra, it's God of the Sun. Then we have refrain, a repeating part that goes through the entire song, twice joyful. Horusai, another mythological reference. Guardian of the Sun, both a reference and a metaphor. Horus made of gold. I guess you can tell, the gold was a symbol of power and nobility even back then, thus the metaphor. To fire the bow when no strings been drawn. Since pharaohs were believed to be living gods, they were often depicted with supernatural powers, like controlling the Nile's flooding, for example. This is also a metaphor for military strength and soft power. You don't need to kill your enemies to make them succumb to your will. We see the proof in the second pre-chorus. Speaking about enemies, then we have the Nine, a reference to tribes or possibly nations that opposed Egypt back in the day. They were considered to be the main threat and traditional foes. And the final interesting part is how the two river banks, they rejoice at your dread. Where two river banks mean people living in those territories. That's called a synecdoche, a part that represents the whole. And finally, the storytelling. Long story short, Pharaoh would. My favorite stylization takes the central stage, and everything including the story adapts to it. So the whole song is just a long praise of the ruler, Sen Usred III, because the original cycle of songs was written in his honor. In the first part of the song we hear the exposition. There is a powerful ruler whose lands are flourishing, and the people of these lands are sharing their enthusiasm. They wish this ruler would live and reign forever. In the second part, we discover that the ruler isn't just a builder, but a warrior as well. He conquered and slaughtered his enemies. Because of this, a new meaning is added to the chorus. Pharaoh rules over new lands as well, and people again wish this rule will never end. And in the bridge, the final changing lines, we receive a summary of the whole song. The ruler is both a builder and a conqueror. That's what makes him good enough to be praised so much and to reign forever. There's a thing I must admit, there isn't much happening story-wise, so among other criteria, this is the weakest part of the whole song. But, does it make it bad? Let me explain why it's made this way. Remember what I said about the duality? A very important, even sacred part of ancient Egyptian culture. It's shown through the lyrics even on a structural level. The first part says the pharaoh is a builder. The second says he's a warrior, both protector and extender. The final lines summarize it. That's why he's a great ruler. Just by looking at the way the band placed all those references, you can tell it was done intentionally. The storytelling isn't that big of a deal when you look at the whole picture, and the picture's main beauty lies in its cohesiveness. When you listen to the whole track, you don't really think about who did what. You travel through ages to discover more about the times you have never even thought about before. And it doesn't sound like a boring lecture in middle school, because the main technique of the song massively paints the authentic image, making you believe you yourself are there, listening to the rise of a mighty pharaoh of ancient Egypt, whose memory lives on to this day through the cycle of songs. Whew. Now, after we've covered all the rhymes, metaphors, and story, it's time to answer the main question. Is it actually the best song on the entire album? I'm not gonna make it in time, am I? No. Knew it.